Yeah, so we're over 75 years old, and it's really an organic growth story. My grandfather started the business in 1946 following World War II. He was in war industries, working for companies that were supporting the war effort at home. A machinist by trade. He basically went out on his own and said, "I'm going to start a machine shop business."
Hmm.
So with a mill and a lathe in his garage, he started working around the Philadelphia area and down in New Jersey. Started in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Basically chasing smokestacks in the area, was trying to see how he could support industry all over the region, the Delaware Valley region primarily. And, just a kind of a lot of effort and will to do.
Yeah.
He built the business that way, and over time, slowly and surely, adding resources and capabilities, adding machinists, adding some pieces of equipment, having some successes with local companies in Camden and Philadelphia, grew to customers in New Jersey and Trenton and the New York area and south into Delaware and Maryland. So it's really a blood, sweat, and tears kind of story that has grown organically over the years. He was a hard worker and built this from the ground up in that way. Um, and really, for the next 20 plus years, it was the business was founded as precision parts. He was always searching for, making parts. Um, but as he grew over time, customer base grew, repeat customers grew. We turned into more of an automation company. Um, and at about the late 70s, we changed our name to Precision Automation Company rather than Precision Parts, to reflect the focus of automating facilities, providing machinery, purpose-built equipment, still with the backbone of the machine shop, supporting customers in that fashion, but also adding value to them by providing equipment as needed, or subassemblies or complete machines. In the early 50s, in 1953, he followed an existing customer of his. It was General Electric out of Trenton. They
Wow.
went to Louisville and opened up Appliance Park. And to maintain that customer, he opened up a second shop in southern Indiana, not too dissimilar from how we're in South Jersey to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Clarksville, Jeffersonville area, Indiana is across the river from Louisville. So he opened up Precision Parts Indiana in 1953 to support that customer, and they've been in business for since that point. They're only a couple years younger than we are here in New Jersey, but over time it was always Precision Parts New Jersey and Precision Parts Indiana. And the Indiana facility now does business as Payco Manufacturing. I know that was a question for you later on, but it kind of fits into our
Yeah.
story, right? Um, probably about 20 years ago, we rebranded the Indiana facility to be Payco Manufacturing, to reflect their focus in manufacturing equipment for customers, and focusing in the upper Midwest market, Louisville, Kentucky, Indiana, um, Illinois, Michigan, Tennessee, kind of that area of the country. But nevertheless, back to New Jersey. Organic growth over those years, and really just by adding capabilities, adding capacity. We moved multiple locations to have larger machine shops and bigger areas for machine assembly, hiring engineers to design and build custom pieces of equipment. Basically, a customer would say, "Hey, this is our challenge, this is our need," and we would circle the wagons, get the engineering team together, determine the best way to achieve or to satisfy their needs. And that was kind of our plan for many, many years. In about the mid 80s, we started a conveyor integration department, or division of our company, where we were going to supply conveyor systems to our customers. It was very often that a machine was built for a customer and you needed to convey the parts or pieces or product to and from our machine, whether it was an assembly system or a packaging system, or a pick and place system, whatever it may have been through the years. Product has to come in, and complete product has to go out. So there was a synergy with the conveyor integration aspect. And that division of our business is still today a growing area. Conveyor and material handling systems are a large chunk of who we are and who we want to continue to be. We had, well, we acquired businesses and divested them over the years for one reason or another as growth opportunities for us. We have, I think it was about 2007, we started working with an Italian company in Milan called Arca, and we represent their line of pressure sensitive labeling machinery here in North America. So that's another synergistic partnership that brings us into packaging in a way that we hadn't been. Being a solutions provider, an automation company, has a wide range of solutions for our customers. We serve them in many different ways, but with Arca, we offered a product, so to speak, a product line of pressure sensitive labeling machinery, print and apply machinery. They have laser marking equipment. And that was a tangible foothold in packaging machinery. And we still work with Arca today. They're a growing area of our business as well. That's very much synergistic with conveyors, labeling, packaging machinery. And really today, we are a pretty vertically integrated company with all the experiences built up over those years. The machine shop is still the backbone of our company. Conveyor and material handling integration is a strategic focus and a growth point. But as much as anything else now, in this day and age, you talk about automation, people think robotics. So we are growing in the robotics space, and that's a major focus for us moving forward. The last decade, I would say, going back, we've worked with robotics back into the 80s, but they were a much more challenging piece of machinery to work with for programming, for setup, very expensive. In the last 10 years, robotics have taken off tremendously, and they're cost effective. They're very easy to program. They're easy to install and support, and there's many options, of course. But that's a growth point for our business, and we try to look at automation solutions through that lens these days, because we can really tackle unique challenges through that flexible automation space in a way that designing and building a purpose-built machine be necessary. Now robotics can really take that space in a lot of ways. So that's precision automation in a nutshell. I tell my customers that there's a lot of different ways we serve customers, whether it's machine shop, parts and pieces, conveyors, robotics, custom built machinery, any combination thereof, or areas that we are not specifically marketing. We have the ability to support through our engineered based approach. Our engineering group is very strong mechanically and electrically, and they're really the backbone of our future of our business in terms of integrating robotics, conveyor, complete systems, warehouse systems, and so forth. So it's quite a complex business market to sell because there's so many different ways we can support our customers. But moving forward, our major focus is material handling, integration, and robotics.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Breather. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was going to ask you about trends, but you kind of answered that question as well.
Sure.
And then, so you said the trends are mostly towards robotics and the other, what is it you said?
Handling integration.
Okay. Yeah, material handling. One question I had was, do you guys primarily only work like in the US, or do you also sell internationally, or do you procure raw materials internationally?
Yeah, good question. Primarily, we focus here in North America.
Right.
We've had businesses in the past, and we have customers that bring us to Europe, to South America, but it's few and far between. Really, we're not a huge organization. There's about 60 of us here in New Jersey and 30 in Indiana. So we're big enough not to be small, but we're too small to be big, so to speak. Which, really we do our best work where we can support our customers more locally.
Sure.
Between the two locations, New Jersey here, we cover the Northeast and the Atlantic Seaboard very well. We can offer high quality, fast service and support. With Payco in the upper Midwest, we support that area of the country very well. Primarily, we are an account-based type business where our customers may have a headquarters in New Jersey, and we'll do project for them. We'll design a system for them, or we'll put together an integration project for them, and find success. Maybe it's in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, but they have a facility in Ohio or Nebraska or California, and we build on those successes. And these companies bring us different places. So it wasn't more than a year or two ago, we had a large project in Nebraska, in Ohio, and in California, all with customers that started more locally. They met us more locally here, but they have 5, 6, 8, 15 facilities maybe, and they brought us to different areas of the country. So we typically would say that we serve North America. We're into Canada for some customers that bring us there, and into Mexico for others that bring us down there. But North America is really where we live.
Yeah.
In terms of procurement, typically in North America as well. I mean, obviously, electrical components and controls components are coming from typically Asia, but we procure them here in the U.S. through their local distributors.
So you have a lot of experience with like lead generation and finding new customers. Is that primarily through building relationships with people, or does the online aspect of it come into play? How much, or is that really not a big percentage of the way leads are generated?
Yeah, good question there, Neil. Our business has been built on referrals and repeat relationships. That's really been the basis of our customer base. And we might have contacts that move from one business to another and bring us with them. We tend to do a lot of repeat business, and we're proud of that. We build strong relationships with our customers. But other ways that we generate business, we go to packaging machinery trade shows as well as material handling trade shows. We usually have 1 or 2, sometimes 3 shows a year, either at Modex or ProMat or Pack Expo East. For example, this year we're going to be in Las Vegas for Pack Expo, and then in March and November next year we'll be in Philly at Pack Expo East, and Pack Expo International in Chicago. So trade shows are big because we get a chance to show ourselves amongst other, industry, amongst everybody in the industry, trying to differentiate our products and services. And in that space, we generate many opportunities and many customers. But absolutely today, we spend a lot of time and effort on our online marketing, our SEO efforts. Our website was revamped a few years ago, so we get quite a few inquiries on a daily and weekly basis. And really, if you think about it, how often have you searched for something where you didn't just go to Google to find what you wanted to find? There's some targeted search engines, sure, but at the same time, just increasing our search engine optimization and presenting our website and products and services in that way generates quite a bit of business for us.
Yeah.
It's cool that you mentioned the trade shows. This is a bit off topic, but
Sure.
in terms of like recruiting people, are the trade shows, like, have they been helpful for that? Or like, what are ways that you can like make this industry like more appealing towards like younger people in terms of
Yeah, absolutely. The trade shows are definitely a good way to show packaging space or the material handling space, because I guess it's not the sexiest thing to sell or to talk about, right? And keeping people interested in it. The trade shows are a great way to see that. I mean, I'd encourage you guys to go to Pack Expo East in Philadelphia next spring. You'll see, you'll see machinery, you'll see robotics, you'll see components, you'll see, AI introducing into our business in a lot of ways. But it's a good way to see that they're, building machinery and packaging is cooler than you would discuss, right? It's how things are made fascinate a lot of people. Engineers are, I'm fascinated by it. People often, they say, "What do you do?" And I say, "Have you ever seen how it's made?" We make machinery that makes things.
Yeah.
And you might see a machine that makes pretzels, or a machine that putting together electronics, and those pieces of equipment are where we live. We consume a lot of stuff, and how does it get made? How does a computer get made? How does a cell phone get made? How do pens get assembled, right? That's all automation. So once you enlighten people, get them to see it, it becomes much more interesting. So you will see quite a bit of college individuals at trade shows, learning, and becoming interested in our industry in that way. So yeah, good question, Akshay.
Yeah, part of the reason we created this podcast and newsletter is to get the younger generation or Gen Z kind of even know about these industries, because not many of us even know that this kind of industry is an opportunity, because everyone's talking about the sexy like AI, or everyone goes into finance after graduating.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
really, robots are very interesting to a lot of people. Seeing how diverse they can be and how useful they can be in this industry um, is I think an attractive point for the younger generation. You look at automation as robotics, right? People more likely to be interested than old school automation or machine shop type work, right?
yeah. In terms of like uh robotics and automation, I think there was an interview I read where you mentioned vision systems is something that you have been following. So like what is like some of the like direct like newer applications that you've seen in that space in terms of
Yeah, so I was starting to say vision is rapidly advancing as well, and that's vision guided robotics, the integration of vision, highly sophisticated vision systems and robotics. I mean, in a lot of ways, are finding ways to replicate a human with eyes and the articulation of hands. So I find those in step together, and vision has rapidly advanced to the point where you can use it in ways you wouldn't have been able to 10, 15 years ago. They're also becoming more and more cost effective too, but identifying products for assembly or packaging, you see the high-speed robots that are picking and placing in food and beverage applications. There's a lot of ways that vision is used in terms of robotics and vision guided robotics, but we use vision a lot for inspection. We do quite a bit in the pharmaceutical space, so we're using it for verification of date and lock codes, and you can use it to ensure that things are properly sealed. Is obviously protecting medicines and stuff like that from tamper evidence is important. So you're doing a lot of like double checking with vision in our space, in the pharmaceutical space, and it's worth its weight, right? In terms of making sure that what is supposed to be produced is being produced that way. But yeah, vision is an integral part of our business moving forward.
Yeah. Since you guys make machines, I don't know if this might be applicable, but do marketplaces like Xometry or MFG.com, I don't know if you've heard of these, but they are places where you can instantly order parts. And so do they come into the picture in your industry, or is it?
Yeah, Xometry, I do have some experience with Xometry, and it's a opportunity and a disruptive force in our space.
Right.
And I've kind of gone around in circles with Xometry because I can see them as both an opportunity for us, but also as I see them as an opportunity as a supplier and a customer. And I've used them in both ways. The ability to drop in a model, have a quote established, in 1 second, and purchase it at a very cost-effective price is attractive for me in terms of prototyping, in terms of I want something really quick. I don't know if I want to, prototyping in general, let's call it that. At the same time, I've worked with Xometry and I get emails on a regular basis soliciting jobs because my machine shop can make the parts for Xometry customers. We haven't done many projects in that way because it's quite cheaper than the way that our traditional machine shop would work. Lead times are crazy fast in a lot of ways. You'll put a part in and it'll say, yeah, you can have it in 3 days. And I wonder, how do we do that? Because we need to procure material, fabricate it, inspect it, and send it. So it's a very, very fast-paced solution in our industry. I would say I see it as much as an opportunity for us to be Xometry's customer as I do as a supplier to Xometry customers, if that makes sense. But I mean, a product built the way it's supposed to be to your door in a few days, I mean, how can you argue with that at a good price? well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few friends that have used it and they really have enjoyed the experience.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'm sure that that does put like some time pressure on the machine shops that have to like deliver it that quick.
Yeah, we find, there's opportunities that pop up on Xometry for larger quantities that we're well suited for. Once we program a part, get it in our machine and produce it on a production level, it's a very good option for us. Um, the very cost-effective, very fast parts that you may see, hey, I want one or two of, a shaft turned down to a specific diameter with a, drilled and tapped hole in the end of it, for example. That's really good for the mom and pop shops, the hobbyist type machinists who have a small piece in their garage, no overhead, and taking up a $600 job to make 4 pieces, and I'll send it to you the next day. If I had a machine in my garage, I could do that when I get home from work and make a little side hustle. And I think there's quite a bit of their suppliers that are like that, small companies that, self-motivated individuals with the resources. Very nice system though, the way you can hone in on what you want to be, what you want to have quoted to you, or excuse me, is a better way to say that. What type of work you want to put out. You can say, hey, I work within this size space, and send them, and you put in all the parameters, and you'll get opportunities, RFQs from things within a very defined parameter. So I like it. I think it's a great
Yeah.
concept, and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to know, like, in terms of software or in terms of trends of software, is there anything you guys use, like ERP systems, or
Yeah,
how does that integrate into this business?
sure. So we're a job shop
Right.
without a product, so to speak, that we repeat on a production basis. We use an Epicor product for ERP. That's it's for job shops. So every project we have is assigned a project number. It goes through its processes, and the project is completed, and the number is that it's assigned to it is a past project. That ERP system works perfectly fine for us. There's other softwares, obviously, that would make sense for production type, you know, companies that make something on a repeat basis. But as a job shop, it keeps us organized. It keeps us adhering to our ISO 9001 certification requirements, and it keeps us efficient. I mean, we need to be efficient in our space, and if we're not, then we're not going to be profitable in that way. So that software has been good to us. I think we changed over from an older Epicor software about 5 years ago, perhaps. Recently updated our Epicor 10 system, and it works for us on a regular basis.
In terms of like trends, is there any type of like media that you use to keep up to date and like to stay ahead of things?
Yeah, good question. I mean,
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
yeah, we're active members of PMMI, which is the Packaging Machinery Manufacturers Institute, a growing organization, collection of businesses like ours in packaging machinery, automation space. They're the ones who put on the trade shows, but they also put on conferences and events and webinars and market research. So we stay up to date on some of those market research opportunities that are presented to us. We participate in their annual meetings and their executive leadership conferences, where there's speakers and futurists, and you connect with the industry. So you're really keeping a nice beat on what's happening in your industry. MHI, the Material Handling Institute, is the material handling focused industry group. So really participating and staying current with those guys is a way that we're on top of trends. I mean, otherwise, keeping your ear to the ground, industry publications that are associated with those, you're keeping up with those trends in that way. Another way is really communicating with our suppliers. Our suppliers, the robotic systems, control systems, they're always putting out new products, new solutions. So staying up with them is the way that we're keeping ourselves moving forward.
Sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like I guess those associations are probably really valuable because those conversations that you're gonna have with those people are probably gonna be hard to find on the internet easily.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you use
They're
like
both tight knit industries as well. So, you establish relationships within
Yeah.
within those groups, and you go to an event, and it's like an old reunion after several years, and people, and you're communicating with them, and it's a way you generate business. It's a way you collaborate in our industry. It's a way you can't have too many friends in this industry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do you use like ChatGPT or anything in your day-to-day or no?
So that's another really good question. I don't.
Yeah.
I've been trying to determine what the best way that AI is going to work for our business.
Yeah.
I think we could use it for, some generation of marketing materials. We use Constant Contact for email, so, email blasts, so to speak. And they've introduced the AI content generators, which is cool. It can crawl our history of previous marketing and promotional emails and generate new ones based on the nomenclature we use and the way we present our company. I have not really dug too deep into that. I've tasked our marketing team with utilizing that further. Streamline your process, take less time to generate promotional materials. But in terms of a day-to-day, no, I don't use it very often. We've entertained the opportunity to utilize AI in terms of like search optimization, in that I'm trying to identify prospects and customers. I'd like to identify the individuals in those companies just to streamline my prospecting work. So we're in the process of evaluating options in that space. Pretty cost effective, and if it helps streamline my process of identifying customers, companies, and individuals to contact there, I'm all for it. And I think we will be moving forward on that year, if not within the next month or two, because you could just trying to say, I want to find a big pharmaceutical company in New Jersey, just going through traditional channels on search engines or LinkedIn doesn't necessarily get you to the right person fast.
Yeah.
It's not going to do the work for me in terms of selling our business and selling our products and services. But if it gets me to the right person quicker, I see that as a very valuable use of AI in our business.
Yeah, definitely. That I'm sure that like prospecting probably like takes up a lot of time, and this will like help to cut that down. I
Yeah.
personally like use it. I started using it a lot, but like I don't use it like completely, but I like take help with it if I'm stuck anywhere and like
Yeah.
drafting any type of message, which has been like really useful.
Yeah, I wish I had it when I was in college. That would have been helpful for some papers, at least getting you going or something like that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, I think in terms of like questions, that was all for the interview.